3 billion birds have been missing since the 70s. How is that possible? It just kind of blew me away. And we're not noticing. I was thinking, what if that space wasn't animated by birds? What if there was nothing there? I began painting probably when I was about 5 with a felt pen, which I went down the hallway in my parents' house, and my mother was very unimpressed. I was always a painter and a drawer. I wouldn't call myself a cause-generating artist. It just wherever the curiosity sends me. It has to be something that I'm really interested in. It's not necessarily the beginning of it. Betsy Rosenwald, my studio mate, finally, poking me enough to say, look at these birds, they're amazing, they're wonderful. And then she showed me this article where they stated that 3 billion birds have been missing since the 70s. And it was just like, the number was just like, how is that possible? It just kind of blew me away.
I met Dawna because when I moved to Saskatoon about 20 years ago, I met her by moving into her studio, essentially. I think at the time we couldn't have been further apart in terms of our painting styles. Like a symphony that kind of has different instruments do their own solos and then they come together. Proximity has led to a number of collaborations and shared interests, and one of those has been birds.
We started to do birds on post-consumer cardboard. It was so obvious during the pandemic because everybody was getting piles of Amazon packaging and lots of cardboard. The stuff was everywhere. I mean, it didn't take much to find material to work on. So that was part of it, and it seemed connected to the bird loss because of the habitat and pesticides and overconsumption, that the cardboard seemed the real likeliest material to use for the project. So we started with that. Today, I think I'm going to do a grosbeak. And they're kind of a dramatic bird because they're black and white and they're red. I do work with an iPad, which is if you looked at it, it's full of paint. That's how I mostly do my work, is I wing it.
One of them was to use the cutout birds. At the time they were cut out, and later we made them more painted on just sticks on the end so that we could pass out all of these birds to different people and use them as a sort of mass protest.
For me, it was like 3 billion birds are gone, and I didn't even notice. And I was alive in the 70s, so it wasn't on my radar. Didn't even occur to me. And that's kind of scary because if that's happening with the birds, I'm sure there's all sorts of other things that are going on, and we're not noticing. And it's like we're the frog in the water, the pot of water, and it's like, well, it's warm, but it's not boiling yet. I think that's part of what we have to be maybe looking at.
I love birds, and I've been actively a bird watcher and concerned with birds. I think that painting the birds was really Dawna's initiative, and then it kind of became a collaboration. Like, we started the 2.9 billion birds Facebook page together to encourage other artists to join us and make birds to draw attention to this terrible loss.
And we started to load up our images.
Dawna and I went to the Women's March in 2017, and that's when Dawna started making signs out of the post-consumer waste. So she's been an influence also on me. I had to make work that addressed those feelings. Recently, Dawna's been doing much more figurative work, and my work has gotten much more abstract, and at other times it's been exactly the opposite. And then I'm finishing some of the more political work that is part of my collaboration with Dawna called Journal of the Plague Year. Life on the prairies in Saskatoon. I've become more aware of the impact of pesticides and the plants that birds thrive on. It starts with the birds, but they're just a messenger, a canary in the coal mine. So if we don't listen to the message that the messenger is sending, we're all going to be in trouble.
There's a million pinholes in the walls. So the walls are actually my working surface. That's where I put up my regular paintings. So it'd be like paper pieces and I would paint on the walls, and this was the working part of the studio. So, you know, putting big birds up on the walls wasn't really an option. But when we discovered or found out to our sadness and despair that we were losing our space, I don't know what twigged me. It was like, this is my moment. I can actually paint on the walls because it's not going to matter. And I didn't even know what birds I was going to put up or what order. It just, I started with the robin because I love robins. So that was kind of like the beginning. This is the second time in 3 years this has happened. Betsy and I were at the Thiessen Pierce building. We were both there. I was there for 25 years. So that was a big loss. They're going to be demolished. They're going to be disappeared. And thematically it kind of fit, right? It's like we're losing our habitat. The birds are losing their habitat. Put them up there, and I hope to take a picture of the demolition of the building because it'll be part of the piece. It's the end stop of it. It's the exclamation point of the work. So, you know, people have asked me, well, aren't you going to be sad that the birds are going to go? And I go, no, actually, that's the point. I tried to make them as beautiful as I could, and they're going to go. They're going to get squashed. Everyone looks at these things like 3 billion birds gone, and it's terrible and it's a loss, but working on the birds has also been a positive thing. I mean, they're beautiful things. They're beautiful creatures. I've learned so much. I mean, today coming to the studio on my bicycle, I was riding down the road, and it was like this tapestry of birds flying and singing and doing their thing, and I have no idea. And I was thinking, what if that space wasn't animated by birds? What if there was nothing there? It would be a very sad thing. We're very grateful to AKA, the Artist Run Center, who are going to provide us with a home for the fall. Please Google, Facebook, 2.9 billion birds gone, because that'll take you to our website.
Are you an artist who's interested in appearing on maxTV Local? Email us at max.local@sastel.com.